to Magic Treehouse Club. Tonight, Jack and Annie will be journeying to Yosemite National Park. Our story is Magic Treehouse number 35, Camp Time in California. Jack and Annie are continuing their adventures, seeing new and exciting animals. Our story begins with Jack reading about the Andes Mountains, the place they visited on their last adventure. Annie asks him about the book, and he says that logging is a serious problem in the area, since it is destroying the forest in the region. He then asks Annie to shut the door, since there is a bit of a breeze. But Annie says that doesn't make sense, that it isn't a breeze, but in fact the treehouse is calling for them. Annie is in such a hurry to head to the treehouse, she doesn't even give Jack time to get his backpack. When they arrive, they see 2 books waiting for them, which is more than usual. Both books have the word Yosemite on the front cover, and Jack comments that this is a place in California. Annie is excited to be going back there after having visited the state in previous adventures. However, when they open the books, they are completely blank. The only thing they find in the book is a note from Morgan. It says, "The trees are calling. Hurry and go into the forest through sunshine and snow. Call yourselves artists. Draw what you see. Give help to others. Give it for free. Before you go home, speak truth to power. Help save the wilderness by Sunday noon's hour." They are confused by Morgan's riddle, but ready to go on their next adventure, and Annie is excited to draw pictures of the park. When they arrive, the magic of the treehouse has changed their clothes to heavy jackets and boots. When they look out the window of the treehouse, the tree and leaves are very thick, so they have a hard time seeing where they are. But they begin to climb down anyway. The wind begins to blow as they climb and climb and climb some more, with Jack commenting on how tall the tree they are in must be. When they finally reach the forest floor, Jack and Annie realize this must be the tallest tree they have ever been in. Jack and Annie both admire the giant tree and wonder if this is the wilderness they are supposed to save. They are skeptical, since the giant trees seem so healthy and strong. Annie wants to start drawing what they see right away, but Jack is reluctant, since he thinks he is a terrible artist. However, when he starts drawing, the picture comes out perfectly. They realize Morgan has given them magical pencils. Jack and Annie have fun wandering around the forest, drawing its natural wonders, until Annie signals Jack to be quiet. She has spotted a sleeping grizzly bear. Annie wants to draw it, but Jack says they need to get away before it wakes up, since grizzlies sometimes attack humans and have strong jaws that can break bowling balls. As they are arguing about what to do, the bear wakes up. Jack says they need to be calm and friendly to keep the bear from attacking. But this doesn't work, so even though bears can move quickly, Jack says their only option is to run. As they escape, they are met with a group of riders. The riders are a group of 4 men. The leader is a man with glasses and a mustache that is dressed like a cowboy. The second man is thin, with a shabby coat and long beard. The other 2 men are dressed in overalls and leading pack mules. The man with glasses asks Jack and Annie if they are from the press, but Annie says they were escaping from a grizzly bear. The man does not believe them, since he says a grizzly bear hasn't been seen in Yosemite for over 8 years. The man with the beard agrees with him. The man with the glasses says that the bearded man is an expert on the area and is known as John of the Forest, who has studied the area for over 30 years. Jack and Annie agree and say they will draw for the group for free. The 2 men in overalls are forest rangers named Charlie and Archie, and they help Jack and Annie get settled on the pack mules. As they start riding with the group, Jack is nervous about riding a mule, while Annie is already thinking about what to name hers. The man in the glasses says their goal is to avoid civilization and enjoy the forest as they keep going. Annie asks John in the mountains about the man in the glasses with the mustache, and is surprised that they don't recognize him, but says the man's name is Teddy, but they should call him Sir. Jack and Annie are curious about his career, and John says he was once the leader of the Rough Riders, a volunteer cowboy soldier-like group. Annie wants to show the men the the pictures they have drawn in the notebooks, but Jack is reluctant. Both men are impressed with their drawings and ask for their names. The kids introduce themselves and say they are artists who were left in the forest by their art teacher Morgan. The men are horrified that they were abandoned in the forest, so Annie quickly says that they asked her to leave them behind in the wilderness overnight. The man in the glasses still thinks this is very irresponsible of an adult to leave them behind like this, but Annie insists they are stronger than they look. John of the Mountain believes them and suggests that they join since they are skilled artists. Jack and Annie are very impressed, but before they can talk more, Jack falls off his mule. Jack is very embarrassed when the whole group has to stop and help him. Teddy gives him advice, saying the person who never makes a mistake is the one who never tries anything, and says Jack should believe in himself. Teddy's advice seems to help, and Jack is able to successfully stay on the mule for the rest of the trip until it is time to eat. When they get off their horses, Jack realizes that while Teddy is not very tall, his presence is larger than life. Jack and Annie snack on bread and water with the group before beginning to sketch their surroundings. As they sketch, John and Teddy play a game where Teddy makes a bird call and John says what type of bird he is imitating. Annie eventually joins in too. After lunch, they get back on their horses and the mule set off again. But it suddenly starts to snow and begins to get very cold and uncomfortable. But Teddy, John, and even Annie seem to love it and comment on the fun adventure they are having. Before Jack can get too depressed, the weather starts to change again and the snow stops. They make camp and Annie immediately starts sketching again, while Jack says he needs to rest. He is tired and cold and complains to himself, wishing he was more energetic and confident like Teddy, Annie, and the others. Before he can dwell too much, John calls them over to see something. Jack doesn't want to, but Annie insists. Jack is glad that he did, since everyone is astounded by the incredible view John shows the group. They can see cliffs, waterfalls, and perhaps the most amazing view either one of them had ever seen. Teddy is also immensely impressed. John tells them that one of the waterfalls they see in the distance is actually the tallest in the United States, and the valley itself was formed by glaciers millions of years ago. As they walk away, Teddy compliments Jack and Annie on how well they handled themselves during the difficult ride, and talks about his love of adventure. After they admire the view, the group settles down around the campfire for dinner. While they eat, John tells Teddy his worries about the dangers to the park, such as poachers and loggers. Trees that have stood for centuries and the animals in the park are being threatened. He says human greed is the greatest danger the park faces, and he is very upset to hear about one tree that had stood for over 1,000 years being chopped down. Teddy then says it's time for bed, and John asks if Annie's okay. Jack says she is and hopes that a good night's sleep will cheer her up. Just as Jack is about to fall asleep, he sees that Annie isn't in her sleeping bag. He frantically searches for her, and when he finds her, she says she wanted to be by herself so she could cry about the poor tree. Jack takes her to the overlook once more that John had showed them, and they are astounded at the beauty of the night sky and stars. They decide to try drawing some and fall asleep drawing the beautiful sight. The next morning, they see the magical pencils have drawn the whole valley while they slept. They show John and Teddy the sketch while they eat breakfast. John and Teddy are both very impressed, and Annie tells Teddy she wants to protect nature and cries thinking about it being destroyed. Teddy is very moved, and the group sets out once more. The farther they get away from the wilderness, the more and more people appear until they exit the forest altogether and see a massive crowd with people calling out, "Mr. President!" Jack and Annie's new friend is Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States. Teddy makes a speech thanking John, who is actually John Muir, the famous naturalist, and Jack and Annie, too, for helping him see the beauty of Yosemite. And then Teddy vows to protect it by making it a national park. John thanks Jack and Annie for convincing Teddy Roosevelt to make Yosemite a national park. He then offers to walk Jack and Annie back to the forest, since he prefers it to the hustle and bustle of the crowds of people. When they reach the point in the forest where they left the treehouse, Annie says goodbye to her mule, which she has named Petey. She takes a long time saying goodbye, making John curious. Jack explains that Annie has a special bond with animals. John decides to sit with them a while, and he makes a fire they can rest around. They talk about the beauty of nature, and how the wind blowing between the trees almost sounds like singing. Suddenly, they hear a new sound. It is the grizzly bear from earlier. John tells them to be very still, and he thinks it might be the very last grizzly bear in Yosemite. He asks them both to sketch it for him, and they do. The bear makes a noise and shakes its head at Annie before walking away. Annie says the bear told her she didn't mean to scare Jack and Annie earlier, and that she plans to leave Yosemite to live somewhere with other grizzly bears. Jack is a little skeptical the bear said so much, but John believes Annie. He is worried about leaving them since it's getting dark, though, so Annie says she can hear Morgan calling for them. They give him the sketchbooks as a gift, and he tells them goodbye and that he'll say goodbye to Teddy for them. They quickly climb the ladder on the other side of the tree, but before they head back to Pennsylvania, they listen to the song of nature. As they return home, they talk about their adventure and how much fun they had. Let's learn more about Yosemite National Park. Yosemite National Park is one of the 20 largest national parks in the United States, and also one of the top 5 oldest parks in the United States. The park covers an area of about 1,169 miles that includes forests, mountains, waterfalls, and more. Abraham Lincoln first put the land aside as part of a special grant in the 1860s, but the land did not officially become a park until 1890. The size of the park and its protection were expanded by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1906. A great deal of the protection and study the park gained was due to the efforts of John Muir. John Muir was born in Scotland in 1838, and he moved to the United States when he was around 10 years old. Muir developed a love of nature and the wilderness and spent his life discovering and protecting the natural wonders of the United States. Yosemite National Park is filled with natural wonders, and some of the most famous sites include the Yosemite Falls, the Firefall, El Capitan, Glacier Point, and the Mariposa Grove, and so much more. Let's learn more about Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was born in 1858 and would become the 26th President of the United States. As a child, Theodore had several illnesses, including asthma, and his family often worried about his health. He discovered at a young age that being outdoors and frequently exercising helped him manage his symptoms, so he developed a lifelong love of nature. As president, he established the United States Forest Service and created more national parks, forests, monuments, and more than any other president before him. He is very proud of his achievements in the field of conservation and once said, "There can be no thing in the world more beautiful than Yosemite, the groves of the giant sequoias and redwoods, the canyon of Colorado, the canyon of the Yellowstone, the 3 Tetons, and our people should see to it that they are preserved for their children and their children's children forever, with their majestic beauty all unmarred." Theodore Roosevelt was also a great lover of animals. During his time at the White House, he and his 6 children had a wide variety of pets. His eldest daughter, Alice, was famous for her pet garter snake named Emily Spinach. The family also had several dogs, horses, and guinea pigs, along with a few less conventional pets, such as a badger, pig, macaw, and many more. They even had a rabbit named Peter. Learn more about these topics with books here at the library. Tonight on Magic Treehouse Club, Jack and Annie journeyed back in time and met President Teddy Roosevelt. One of the most famous stories about Teddy Roosevelt is how he was responsible for teddy bears. So we'll be making our very own teddy bear craft. For this craft, you'll need the 2 pieces of paper in your activity bag, the googly eyes, a black marker, a glue stick, and a pair of scissors. Be sure to ask a grown-up's permission before using scissors. Our first step will be to cut out the pieces to make our teddy bear. Once I have all the pieces of my bear, it's time to start putting it together. So, these will be my teddy bear's feet. So I'll start by drawing a large circle here, and I'll do the same thing on the other foot. Next, I'll draw 3 oval shapes. And I'll do the same thing on the bear's other foot. Then, I'll start giving my bear its face. I'll give it a heart for a nose. And then I'll draw a line here and here to give it a mouth. After that, I'll give my bear its ears. So I'll glue the pink circles onto the small brown circles. And then I'll glue them right onto my bear's head. I'll glue this heart onto my bear's tummy. And then I'll take its arms and I'll put a little bit of glue on each one so my bear will be holding the big heart. Now your bear, if you'd like, can also be a special card. To make your bear a card, you'll take this piece, put some glue on top of it, and then glue it to the back of your bear's head. So you can lift it like this and maybe write a special message. Finally, I'll give my bear some eyes. And there you go, your very own teddy bear craft. Try making one at home. Thank you so much for tuning in to Magic Treehouse Club. See you next time.